which came into my mind while I was reading the second question. The inspiration was naturally from no obligation. What is so difficult to refuse to meet those obligations? So, sir, just wanted to ask that is anyone in this world is charged of being an obligated person? Is anyone living so freely in this world? And freedom is sometimes a vacuum. So, what is the key to convert that particular obligation into a freedom? How can we live freely by charging our obligations?
Two parts. One, is it really possible to live free of obligations? Second, how really to convert obligations into freedom? How really to live freely in the mid of obligations? What's your name? Garima. Garima. Sit. A central question that needs to be asked is, to whom are the obligations? To whom are the obligations? You see, you are the employee of an organization, and you are obliged to take care of a certain workload that comes to you, right? It is an obligation because you have clearly said, you have identified yourselves as an employee. The day you resign from that organization, do you still have obligations regarding the work? Are you still obliged to do what your boss says? Are you still obliged? You are not obliged, right? From where do obligations come? Obligations come from identification. Obligations come from my own assumption that this am I. When you are an employee, it is very explicit, very obvious that I have chosen to be an employee, and I can choose not to be an employee the day I want to. In other aspects of life, the assumption is not so clear, it is not so explicit. For example, you hardly know how to resign from friendship. You know how to resign from employeeship, but you do not know how to resign from a relationship. What you forget is that you are the one who has taken it on, and you are the one who has the power to get rid of it. It is not your natural identity. You have taken it. You have assumed it. Do you know what is identification? Identification is when you find a false answer to the question, who am I? You provide very convenient but false answers to it. Who am I? I am a mother. Who am I? I am an employee. Who am I? I am a Hindu. Who am I? I am a student. The moment you take on these identities, obligations start. Our challenge is, we want to retain the identity but get rid of the obligation. You say, I do not want to have obligations, and nobody likes obligations because it is very obvious that obligations enslave us. We do not like obligations, but we want to retain the identity, which is impossible. If you are an employee, then you will have to meet the obligations that the organization puts upon you. Is that not so? But you will say, no, I want to remain an employee, but also not have obligations. And extrapolate that to all other identities in life. Then you will say, but sir, why will we do that? Why will we do that? If I want to get rid of obligations, and if obligations come from identity, then I should be prepared to give up the identity. No, we will not be prepared to give up the identity. Are you getting this? Now, why do I want to remain an employee? Even if and even when it becomes clear that obligations come from this identity, yet I want to retain that identity. Why? Because being an employee gives me benefits. If an obligation is in demand, no one can put a demand upon you unless you are drawing a benefit from that person. It is a clear business trade-off. Why is your boss able to command you? Because he is paying you a salary. When you resign from being an employee, you resign from the benefit that you get from that identity. Is that not so? Today onwards, I refuse to take your money. Today onwards, I refuse to be dependent upon you. The moment you declare that, I refuse to be dependent upon you, nobody in the world can put any demands upon you. There will be no more obligations left. All obligations, it should become obvious now, all obligations arise from your sense of dependency. And this dependence, let me say, for adults is just greed. Because we are greedy, hence we have to pay the price. We sell away our freedom. Do not say that we are being made a slave and the entire world is a slave. No. You have signed a contract. You are saying, you give me so many benefits. And what are the benefits that we get? We get security of all kinds, financial, emotional, social. We get the security of remaining aligned with the past and the traditions. And when we are getting so much, obviously, there is a price to pay. And that price to pay is called obligations. You are benefiting so much. Won't you pay a price for it? There are no free lunches. Every single rupee that you take from somebody has to be accounted for. Every single rupee. Nothing comes free. Nothing comes free. For the conditioned mind, everything is just business, a trade-off. But the very questions that we pose are posed very smartly. We say, sir, being what I am, remaining what I am, how do I get rid of obligations? How can you get rid of obligations? You have gone on and had a sumptuous lunch in a restaurant. Now when the bill comes, you are saying, oh, there is such an obligation to pay. Sir, how can I get rid of the obligation to pay my bills in a restaurant? By not eating the lunch. First of all, you want to have a lavish lunch, and then you don't want to have the obligation of paying the bill. The story cannot start when the bill comes. The story must start when the greed to enjoy a free lunch arises. For petty conveniences, we are selling away something so precious. You are young, you have a life to live. You surely realize the meaning of freedom, the value of freedom. For such small things like social sanction, a little bit of money, a little bit of imagined security, do you want to sell away your freedom? But look at the world around. That's exactly what it is doing. That's exactly what it is doing. And then we complain. Oh, life is a burden. Useless responsibilities, duties, obligations. Who took them on? You, by identifying yourself. And in every identification, there is this cleverness. I will gain something. You do not realize that now you are not even gaining something. Even if you look at it as a business transaction, it is a highly loss-making business transaction. What you are gaining has very little value. What you are losing is priceless. What are you gaining? What are you gaining? All you are gaining is, all right, I'll be in the good books of everybody. I'll be called a socially acceptable chap. This is what you are gaining. And what are you losing? You are losing the essence of life. Do you want to make this kind of a business deal? MBA second year students? It's a financially unviable deal. Negative NPV. Are you getting it? Do not point fingers at others. Do not ask, why do others pressurize me? No one can pressurize you without your consent. The other fellow can pressurize you only because you are taking so much from him. And when you are taking so much from him, you have given him the right to pressurize you. Don't you realize this? But you will always point fingers at the society, at the world, at education, at family. You will say they are pressurizing us. Who gave them the right to pressurize you? Who gave them the right? You gave them the right out of your own greed. Why are you giving them this right? You see, there are these professional managers, professional workers. You meet them, and 80%, 90% of them would be severely unhappy with their jobs. It's a soul-sapping job. They are killing me. There's nothing in it. Just number crunching. My boss is an idiot. I ask a simple question. Why don't you resign? How can we resign? You can resign using the same pen that you used to sign the offer of acceptance. You signed the offer of acceptance. You can sign your resignation. But you will keep cribbing. You will keep complaining. But you will not let it go away simply because you are perceiving a benefit from it. And because it has become your entire identity. Today you are the vice president of an organization and that's what you think you are. Who am I? The VP of such and such company. The day you are not the VP, you will feel as if your entire world has evaporated. Who am I? I don't know. Till yesterday I was VP. Today I am nobody. I don't exist. I don't exist. You are so deeply identified with the job. And you won't resign because there is so much of cash that you are getting from it. But you keep complaining. My wife is harassing me. My boss is harassing me. My neighbors are harassing me. Why do you allow them to harass you? Don't you see how you are benefiting? Surely you are getting something very lucrative from your wife. Every day you complain about her, but the next morning you are again ready. So go ahead. If that's what you want, if that's your calculation, that the net transaction is positive, yes, I am paying a price, but I am getting far more, so go ahead. Am I able to put across a single thing? Never complain that you are under pressure. Never complain that you have to conform. Never complain that others are dominating you. Nobody can dominate you without your consent. Getting it? Yes.
So when this thing comes in terms of our family, so then what can we do? Means obligations, dominance, expectations. So then do you think that this
The same thing applies there also.
we can't stop them from exercising their rights or dominating?
See, when you say family, you mean a particular relationship, right? What kind of relationship do you want? With a family or with anybody? With your family or with anybody, what kind of relationship do you want? A business-like relationship of give and take, or a relationship of love? Where there is dominance, there can be no love. And surely a lot of transactional activities going on, give and take. I am giving you shelter, I am paying your fee, so you better listen to me. No, this is not love. Surely this is not love. Now what's then special about the family if there is no love? Then it's a shop. It's not a home, it's a shop. What happens in a shop? You pay for potatoes, you get potatoes. And if the same thing is happening in a home, I am paying your fee, so you will do what I want you to do. I raised you, I spent so much upon you, now you marry the girl I want you to marry. Now there is a shop. This is not love. Is this love? Does love enslave or does love give freedom? So if you see an attempt at enslavement, surely that is not love. Let there be relationships, but let there be beautiful relationships of love. In the family, outside the family, everywhere. It cannot be a debit and credit kind of thing. That somebody is writing the ledgers all the time. I spent 4,000 more on my son today. When will the time come to extract the bloody pound of flesh? My investment is ripening. Let him turn 25. That is the due date. Yeah. You don't want this kind of a relationship, right? Love does not want to keep extracting from somebody. Being in a family does not mean being dependent. In fact, healthy relationships are possible only between two free people. Two people who are not dependent upon each other, who are not parasites upon each other. Only between two such people are healthy relationships possible. Have healthy relationships. In DU, Delhi University, there is a t-shirt that is quite famous. I have seen it quite often. So, here it's written, "My dad is an ATM." Now, if this is your relationship with dad, then dad will extract what he wants to. If that's the way you approach your dad, he's an ATM. Dad, 5,000 more. Then don't be surprised if dad says that now marry this boy. Or don't take up that job. You will work only in Lucknow. What? This offer is for Bangalore? Not allowed. Delhi? No, no, no. All the women in Delhi are being raped. Good girls from Lucknow don't work in Delhi. Don't be surprised if that kind of stuff happens. Have healthy relationships. You are not 5 years old. A 5-year-old will be dependent, must be dependent. Why must you be so severely dependent? And dependence is not only financial or physical. Dependence is deeply mental. Mental in the sense that if that fellow takes away his sanction, what will happen to me? I'll emotionally collapse. Have you seen such people who cannot live without acceptance of others? Who cannot take a step if others do not agree? Have you not seen such people? They will know what is right, but they still cannot do it till 5 people come and tell them that do it. This is the worst kind of dependence. Can't watch a movie alone. Can't even eat alone. Can't even take a shower alone. Always needing somebody for company. 30 minutes the fellow is sitting all by himself, then he has to pick up the mobile phone and talk to somebody. This is the worst kind of dependence. Can't be alone. Have you not seen such people? 30 minutes if they are alone, they start shivering, trembling. They have to ring up somebody. And the other fellow will ask, "Why did you call me?" "No, nothing, General." If you receive such calls, first thing, block that number. The bugger is dangerous. He has a virus, he'll spread it. Nothing to do. So sitting in front of the laptop and refreshing the Facebook page. Every 10 minutes the thing is being refreshed. Why? This is the worst kind of dependence. Posted a new pic on Facebook and then visiting that pic 20 times a day to see what are the comments that are coming. Have you not seen that? And that is a very pathetic dependence. One good comment and you cheer up. One bad comment and you burn up. I'll ban this fellow. He does not deserve to live. Can someone explode him? A nuclear bomb or something? Or delete his comment. How can I have an ugly comment upon my page? A new dress. And what am I searching for? Appreciation. And if the fellow does not say anything about the dress, we are not on talking terms anymore. He will not even know why you broke up. He didn't even notice that I was wearing a new dress. Do you realize how deep and insidious this dependence is? How it harms you? 40 times you are looking at your own face in the mirror. Think of it. These eyes look there, here. When you are looking at your face in the mirror, essentially what you are doing is, you are looking at yourself through others' eyes. You are trying to figure out how you will look to others. Is that not so? How will I look to others? That is deep, deep dependence. Others must say good things about me. It doesn't matter that I'm rotten inside. It doesn't matter that my mind is so diseased. But let others please say nice things about me. That is dependence. And where there is this dependence, there is slavery. And soon you will be picking up jobs. You are in the second year. It doesn't matter what is the content of the job. The brand must be nice. And why must the brand be nice? So that I can call up Papa and tell him, I am pleased with that MNC. And what will Papa do with that? He will tell the neighbor. And he'll call up all the uncles and aunts and Buaji and tell, my son is placed in an MNC. Now it doesn't matter what the MNC will have you do. Stand at some petrol pump and sell credit cards. But I am working in an MNC. That is dependence. Society is happy. It doesn't matter that I am suffering. It doesn't matter. How can I work with a small brand? How can I work with a startup? How can I start a new firm, some work of my own? I have to be dependent upon some brand. So want to purchase a new pair of shoes? A branded pair, even if it costs 6,000. And there is nothing in it. The same stuff, unbranded, you can get for 20% of the price, but you will not take it. The brand gives you security. When the brand gives you security, then you are bound to pay 6,000 for it. Pay through your nose. Pay through your nose. This is dependence.